Hello all, in this video we'll be talking about a famous chess game that was played back in 2013 between Vishwanathan Anand and Levon Aronian back in the 2013 Tata Steel chess tournament. This game has been dubbed as the Nerves of Steel chess game, and it would go down as one of the best chess games of the 21st century. So if you're interested in the d4 d5 opening, this is a game you surely don't want to miss out, and as you can learn a lot from this game, and this game also includes a lot of tactical maneuvers and surprises. So Levon Aronian, playing the white pieces, opens out with d4. Anand replying with d5, c4, c6, knight to f3, knight to f6, knight to c3, e6. And this is the semi-Slav opening. e3, knight b to d7, bishop to d3. So these are common development moves by both white and black. d takes c4, bishop takes c4, b5, bishop to d3, bishop to d6, white castles, black castles, queen to c2. Here white's plan is to develop both his queen and bishop, and in the next moves white plans to play knight to g5 and then put additional pressure on the h7 square. Bishop to b7. Here black's plan is to play c5 and then activate both the light squared and dark squared bishops. The bishop on b7 has a nice square, and both these bishops will be quite strong after the move c5. So we have white plays a3 to prevent b4, the move b4 by black, as white's knight on c3 is actually quite well placed, and he also later has the option of trading it off. So rook to c8. This move is providing additional stimulus to the move c5, after which and also developing a piece which is the rook. So knight to g5. Here white's plan is simple. He wants to put additional pressure on the h7 square, and after, suppose if black plays h6, and it would create another further weakness on the g6 square, and white's aim is to develop maybe f4, play f4, and then develop his rook and to h3, and this is what, and play developmental moves. This is white's plan. And after this move, black could have played bishop takes h2 check, king takes h2, knight to g4, king to g1, and queen takes g4. So this is a quite almost an equal position for both white and black, as this is a playable position for white also. So if we go back, this is not the route which black chose. So black chose instead to play c5, simply ignoring the pawn on h7 and developing both the bishop on b7 and bishop on d6. So after c5, white captures with the knight. So if you watch the game analysis between by Vishwanathan Anand, he himself admits that white should have captured with the bishop instead of the knight, as knight to h7 was the move which changes the tides of the game. So after knight takes h7, black plays knight to g4. Here white does not capture the rook immediately, as that would be a blunder. So after bishop takes h2, king to h1, and queen to h4, now black is in a winning position. So f4 first, preventing the bishop from attacking the h2 square. So here black responds by c takes d4, e takes d4, and you can look at this position, and I would like you guys to pause the video for a minute and guess black's next move. black plays bishop to c5. So basically the idea of bishop to c5 is that black's bishop is not doing much at the d6 square. So why not sacrifice the bishop on c5 to give additional potential to the black queen on d8. So let's say if white takes the bishop on c5. So here we'll have knight takes c5. Now the queen and the knight are both threatening the white bishop. So after bishop to e2, we have queen to d4 check, king to h2, knight to f2, and this is quite a good position for black. So this is not what white played. White played bishop to e2, threatening the black knight, as he already sensed this danger and he wanted to safeguard his bishop, and maybe after setting the making the knight to move to either h6, white would want to play bishop to e3. So next move also is quite surprising by black. So you can pause the video again for a minute and guess black's next move. Black directly plays knight d to e5, because black knows that if again if he captures the bishop, it would be queen to d4 check, king to h2, knight to f2, and this is better for black. So this is not what we had in the game. And also white cannot capture the knight on d5 as the bishop is on c5. So it's an move which is not only making a strong centrally placed knight, but also giving additional potential for the queen, not only on d4, not only on h4, but also on d4. Bishop takes g4. So bishop takes d4, king to h1, knight takes g4, knight takes h8. So now we have black plays f5, as direct playing queen to h4 directly for threatening mate would be wrong, as white has an interesting maneuver of queen to h7 check, queen takes, and knight takes, and white is safe in this position. But black wanted a more forcing line. So f5 first, preventing the queen to come to h7. Then now white only has the option of playing knight to g6. So this is the only move which white can play to prevent the queen from coming to h4, as white has no other choice. So next black plays queen to f6, h3, queen takes, queen to e2, queen to h5, and queen to d3. And in the next move, white resigns. Black has this interesting move of bishop to e3, and now there's nothing which white can do to defend himself. So let's say white plays bishop takes e3, we have queen takes h3 check, king to g1, and this is a clean checkmate. So that is the reason why white resigns after the move bishop to e3, as he has no other option left, and this is the only hope. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do give a thumbs up, like, share, and comment. Thank you.